And just like that, we are back again to Sex and the City, the original recap and review, season by season, episode by episode. We are in 1999, episode 3 of season 2, and this one is called The Freak Show. Yeah, baby. This is gonna be hard. Um, I'm gonna have to try to get through it. I don't. So we all agree we have to use metaphors, right? Everybody that agrees with me, nod your head. You all know I can't see you, right? So I'm just gonna presume that you're nodding with me. Say yes, 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 Lena. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Because now we're getting into the territory of when it actually started to get good in the neighborhood. This one is a little eye opening. Okay, a lot of eye opening. So I hope that you enjoy it because you're going to see me suffer in ways that you probably know already because you're used to me already. So I hope I make this fun and I hope this is enjoyable for you. Couple of updates. My back is doing much better. So for everyone that was asking, thank you. It's doing much better. No, I'm not getting surgery, but I am doing a lot of strength training and I'm doing therapy. And my cold is, I think, finally gone. It may pop up from time to time, but I think I'm over the worst of it. So if I can get through this without hacking and coughing and looking disgusting, wish me luck. My hair is up. Please don't freak out. I did not cut it. I just had my hair up today. So we are going to get into the freak show, baby. Next up, the scene opening. They do. Scene opens. It opens up to our beautiful Lady Liberty as Carrie is narrating that in the yonder years, our forefathers came to New York, Ellis Island, with their hopes and their dreams. And it goes into the black and white version of all of the immigrants coming into Ellis Island, which, by the way, because I'm a history lover and I love watching documentaries, I totally love this part of the scene. And as she narrates that, it translates into the hopes and dreams of all single people looking for a date Saturday night in lower Manhattan. People are crowded into restaurants hoping to get a first date and a date into inevitable matrimony. Here we go with the pressure of single and getting married. It begins. As we pan around, Carrie's still narrating that we go to my favorite, Samantha, and she's on a first date. And she, as she narrates, doesn't believe in dates and matrimony, but she does believe in first dates and sex. So we meet this one, okay? This one over here. I don't even know I don't remember his name. All I know is that he is a successful litigator and that he has a very expensive apartment on the 39th floor of one museum. It's not cheap. Not back then, not now. And they're flirting. And suddenly we get caught into his boudoir, of course. So as they're kissing, he's yapping his mouth off, trying to play his little flirting game that he is a litigator and his specialty is sexual harassment. And Samantha, of course, reciprocates, and that's mine as well. And as they're leaning into the bed, he's still yapping his mouth off, talking about, oh, well, I can litigate this case. And most cases are brought on by older women. Well, that back at the truck up for Samantha in 2.5 seconds. She got up and she looked at him and said, how old do you think I am? As Carrie narrates that she has celebrated her 35th birthday for more years than anyone can count. The guy has the nerve to say, come on. What are you, 40, 41? She got offended. I'm laughing my ass off back then because I hadn't hit 40 yet. I hadn't even hit 30 yet. And now I'm laughing now even more because I'm 56. And I know that anyone would kill to go back to be in their 40s. I'm happy where I am. But I would do things a lot different if I know now what I No, if I know then what I know now. I always get that turned around. I don't know why. She decides to take a break to go to his bathroom and she starts checking the mirror, checking her skin. And probably what I don't like is that the insecurity we feel when someone says these things to us, even though, come on, let's be realistic. I'm sorry. I'm not going to put anybody down. This is not about putting anybody down. Samantha doesn't look 35. Not then. Now, it's not because she doesn't look 35. It's that Samantha doesn't carry that aura of a 30, 29, 35-year-old woman. She has a very mature aura about her. The way she dresses, the way that she speaks to people. You know, even if she was 35, I would be like, you're a very mature 35. I can't explain it. I don't know if anybody else gets it, but I think she looks fabulous for her age. Can she pull off 35? Sure, for some people, but I don't think there's anything wrong with her looking her age. I just don't. That's just me. I can't speak for anybody else. Don't come at me at the comments. So after she decides that she's not going to look at the mirror anymore, she comes out of his bathroom and she's looking around in his bedroom. And then she hears a voice, not from above, but from the bedroom somewhere. I'm over here. She turns around and she opens the closet and we get this. The smallest cedar den closet of antiquities, as Carrie puts it. Now, back then, we didn't have, what is it, 50 Shades of Stupid or Disgusting or Unrealistic? You know, 50 Shades of Grey. My God, I hated that movie. And I'm going to tell you why I hated that movie right now, real quick. I would be the dominant. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Shh. Me no like that. Freaky deaky. Listen, check it out. She's looking at him and he's like, slap me. Come on, slap me. And she's like, are you kidding me? Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm actually really impressed with Samantha because I didn't know she had limits. Well, listen, that's not even a limit. That's just what the hell. And he's like, come on, slap me hard. I'm like, dude, first of all, how'd you get in there? She was gone for like 2.5 seconds. Do you have like people that help you to do that? What is happening in this episode, in this scene? And, and, and that's it. She just looks at him and she can't believe it. I'm going to give it to Samantha. I know that she's in one episode. We'll get to it. She says she's trisexual. She'll try anything once. I really was surprised. First of all, let's start off with, I would have slapped him just for the comment alone. I would have slapped that bad boy, closed the closet, put a chair against it, and would have called somebody the next day to go get him because I wouldn't want him to die. But can you believe it? She walked out. Next up, the discussion of this date. In come the metaphors. In come the metaphors. They don't. Oh boy, we get to meet Charlotte Lou Bowl. Next scene. The girls are all together, which is my favorite. They're at a restaurant for one of the parties that Samantha's throwing for a book that she's publishing or being a publisher for. Who cares? That's not the good part. The good part is that we see Miranda, Carrie, Samantha sitting at the bar, sitting at the table, and they're talking about the fact that, you know, her date, Samantha's date, or Den of Iniquities. I think I said Den of Antiquities. So if I said that in my prior scene, my apologies, is Den of Iniquities. So I'm not re-recording it. Sorry. I make mistakes. I'm human. I am not AI. Mm-hmm. You know. So listen, as you know, Carrie is asking, do you think that he's still hanging in there? And that she was very impressed that he actually got himself hooked up in less than 2.5 seconds, like I was. Mhm. And Samantha says, well, hopefully the super will find him soon. Miranda's statement is that is why she doesn't date because all men are freaks. And she points out that any man after 30 who is still single is a freak. It's Darwinian. They're trying to weed him out from propagating the species. I've remembered that then and I remembered that now because my point was, which is exactly what Carrie brings up, what about us? They're all over 30, they're females, and Miranda's like, we're just being choosy. Are you? Are you really? You know, guys do feel the same about women. I don't know if they know this, but they think we're weird too after a certain age. I really wonder if men really watch this show and listen to the crap that comes out of their mouths and say, what the bloody hell? Because even I was stunned when she said that. I'm like, mojita, really? Tu estás loca? Okay. What do you think? You're just being choosy? Well, since she really couldn't put a defense to her statement, she decides to walk away to get some hors d'oeuvres. In comes Charlotte. Charlotte's so happy. She met somebody at the bar. His name is Mitch Saylor, and I do remember this name specifically because of what happened. And whenever apparently Charlotte uses the full first and last name of anyone that she meets, she imagines their monogrammed towels. You know, she's projecting that she's going to get married, which is what Carrie is saying in her narration. And Miranda comes back, and then Samantha says, Mitch Saylor? She's like, yes, do you know him? She goes, oh, honey, it's time to go to the ladies' room. I was so scared when I saw this first time. Me and my girlfriends were like, what is happening? What does this man have? So as they run into the ladies' room, Samantha says that he is known as Mr. P. Metaphors. It stunned Charlotte. She's like, Mr. What? Mr. P? Apparently, he has this reputation of loving to dine the fine wine. Hmm? I'm going to be using metaphors. You pick the most favorite one you like. It destroyed Charlotte. She suddenly stopped imagining her monogram towels with Mr. Vajayjay. And apparently that he is so good, he's well renowned. And my whole point is this. As they're talking about how well renowned Mr. Vajayjay is, I'm thinking to myself, that's not good. I don't care if you are a man. And I'm going to make my statement now. Me no like. Now, listen. I understand that we all have our past. Got it. Why is it okay for a man to have a reputation of tasting the fruit nectar? Almost everybody. But it's not okay for women to have a reputation as such. Now, I know the answer. You let me know why. Because I was personally disgusted when I heard that. Now, listen, I've dated men, a lot of them, and I understand that I don't want to know. It's one thing that I have to understand that you have a past. I don't need that type of reputation coming and following you when I'm in the bathroom. So she wants Samantha to stop saying Mr. Vajayjay. And Samantha's line is, okay, fine. Going down, giving head. And then Carrie's like, eating in, eating out. And then I think Charlotte, what's her name? Miranda says, why does that mean eating out? Wouldn't it be eating in? I don't know the diff, eating out, eating in. But it was hilarious. Hilarious. As they're talking, a woman comes out from the bathroom stall saying that you must be speaking about Mitch Saylor. He's a legend. I dated him for a month. I came so hard I passed out. Have fun. What the hell is happening here? If I was not disgusted before, I'm disgusted more now. Now I know for sure this is not going anywhere. Poor Charlotte. She doesn't want to date him. She's like, Samantha's like, honey, there is no more. Okay? If that's all he can do, that's all you're going to get. As they run out to chase the woman and to go see Mitch Saylor, they're all gathered at the stairwell, and Mitch, Mr. Vajayjay, is at the bar staring at all of them, eating what I can only presume is oysters. And he's sucking it up, and he's a, did that look sexy to you? Because if it didn't, imagine how I felt watching that. Then, now, forever. I was like, are you a walking billboard for Mr. Vajayjay? And you're proud of this? This is your thing. I don't know anything else about you. I don't want to. I'm sorry if I offend anyone. I know that, again, we all have our reps to protect and we all have our number and we all have our thing. But if it's not okay for a woman to go out and have a reputation like that, then it no be okay for a man either. And that is not appealing to me. I watched a woman come out of a bathroom stall telling me that she had you. Ew. Next up, now we have Carrie, who is going to refuse to believe that they're freaks, and she's going to continue dating. And we get to see the bevy of freaks that she dates. Literally. This episode was really good. They do. Subscribe. We get to see the freaks now. Mm-hmm. So Carrie is narrating that she is not going to give up, unlike Miranda, on dating, and she has agreed to go on a blind date after 2 years. As she's roaming around her apartment, we finally get to see her on her first date at a bar. Simple. And she's talking to this guy who is a documentary person, and he did a wonderful documentary on seagulls that was well renowned. Mm-hmm. And that she's like trying to ask him about more about the documentary, and he's like, listen, I don't really give a for a rat's behind about the damn seagulls, okay? I just want to make money. I will sell toilet bowls if it will make me a millionaire. And Carrie's like, well, what about the seagulls? And he's like, F the seagulls. Then it goes into the circus song, and she narrates, meet the guy with no soul. Date number 1. Okay. She decides to go on a date again, and this time she's going to a movie theater with this one, who is scary looking before he even opens his mouth. They're chit-chatting about she wants popcorn, and he says that he wants some junior mints and that this date may not work. You know, flirting. Mm-hmm. He suddenly turns around to the person standing behind him and starts yelling at him, do you want to stand a little bit closer so you could hear our conversation better? Why don't you just sit in our laps, you dick? Turns back to Carrie as if nothing happened. The next narration from Carrie is, meet the guy with 2 faces. Okay. So she figures third time's a charm. She's going out with some guy who is apparently has $2 million. I don't know. I don't know if she asked for a check or his bank statement, but let's go with that. And they're at a open outdoor book selling place. I don't know if they do that anymore. I think they still do, but it's not as common as before. She turns around and he steals one of the books in his pants. Back. And Carrie's like, I guess with $2 million, he still needs to steal $2 books. Meet the guy who steals $2 books. And now, as she noted, she's afraid. I've way past afraid at this point. Way past afraid. She's back in her apartment. I guess she brought the circus book of freaks, and she's narrating that men have devolved from the last time she went out dating, and now they're roaming around free for anyone to go and look, pet, and date. And now she's typing in the computer, are all men freaks? I'm guessing, just a wild guess, throwing it out there. This was not written by either Michael Patrick King or Darren Star. It was written by Jenny Bix. Just throwing this out there. I have a feeling that this is one of these episodes that somebody in the writer's room experienced these things. Because this is awfully specific. And it's very different from the other scenarios that we get into. I noticed that mostly, especially this time, because again, I'm really paying attention who's doing the writing. And I can tell that this tone between Samantha's slap me, baby, slap me hard date and the 3 dates that Carrie and the freak show of Mitch Saylor, that the guys left, the woman took over, and they said, this was a date that I had. This is a date that I had. This is a date that I had. And they decided to make an episode out of this. Because as much as this was funny, I couldn't help but wonder, who did this happen to? My girlfriends and I are sitting there, first of all, after they took the popcorn and spit it out of their mouth from laughing so freaking hard. I just looked at them. I said, I've been on a lot of dates, but that's never happened. Has that happened to you? And they're like, no. Do we know people that it has happened to? Like, no. I said, so this is all fresh new information for you. Like, yes. Of course, they've already watched it, so they were waiting for my reaction yet again. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah. See, I'm not dating ever. I did get married. He may have been a freak. No one's perfect. Don't judge me. Next up, Charlotte. Charlotte and Mr. Vajayjay. Do you think that she was going to give up her monogram towels just because of a statement of a random woman that comes out of a bathroom and says that he's the best sex eater she's ever had? Of course not. They don't. Charlotte and her man's Mr. Vajayjay, literally, as Carrie narrates, that unlike Carrie's traumatized 3-date experience, Charlotte was giving Mitch Saylor a chance. It was Monday, and she let him in under her sheets. Literally. And as he is taking his time in the dining area, Charlotte starts to laugh and says it tickles, and he's like, relax. And I'm like, no. She relaxed, and she had the best orgasm she's ever had. That was until Tuesday, where we're back into the dining area with Mr. Vajayjay, and she once again has one of the most intense orgasms. And guess what? It's Wednesday, and we're still eating, and she's still having the intense orgasms until Thursday. Yes, Thursday, where I can only say that we're still eating, and she has another intense orgasm. And that is until Friday, where she had the most intense dining experience, where she screamed, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, 7 times. You want to know how I know? It's because that's what Carrie narrates, that Friday was the most intense because apparently Charlotte saw God for 7 times. And for an Episcopalian, that was a very good Friday. I almost died watching this scene. It was like watching a mini P show We're friends. And we're just sitting there and I'm like, why do you do this to me? Why do you hate me? Why can't I just watch these shows alone? So I can just scream because I know you're watching me. I can see you. I can feel you. I see your eyes. And they're cackling along because this is like real private stuff. I'm just saying. The next scene we have is Carrie, traumatized Carrie, sitting in Central Park by the Angel statue, broad daylight, minding her own business, and this guy shows up to sit next to her. Mm-hmm. Because the whole park is not available. He had to sit right next to her. And they're looking at each other, and I guess this is flirting now, back when two traumatized people from dating. And they're chit-chatting about that she went on a date and he was a kleptomaniac. And this guy, Ben, says that the last date he had, she wore her shoes in bed. Carrie asks, when did men become freaks? And he starts to laugh. He goes, no, you guys are the freaks. You just hide it really well. And I'm just listening to this. I'm like, what? Most boring conversation ever. Okay. Now, the next part they're talking about that is why he doesn't date anymore. So if you don't date anymore, then why the hell did you sit next to her? You weren't sitting next to her and not flirting for not flirting. You big ding dong doofus. Sorry. I'm like, sure, we'll go with that. Cute. As she shakes his hand, so he introduces himself, she says she was instantly attracted to him, but she could swear that she may have seen some webbing between his fingers because she's still traumatized. Are you falling asleep? Oh my God, I couldn't. I was like, can we get to the scene that I know that's going to happen because I know Carrie already because once she says she's attracted to someone, she's in bed with them within a day. As they're chatting about nothing, this was like a Seinfeld episode, a show about nothing. Suddenly, I think they exchange private numbers because he asked, can I take you out to dinner? I thought you didn't date anymore. And I'm saying that as Carrie said it. I thought you didn't date anymore. And he's like, no, it would be like a non-date. So, do you want to go? She goes, no, maybe. Something like that. And he goes, is that a yes? She goes, it's a non-no. Okay. Cute. Real cute. Suddenly, they exchange their private numbers. And I guess they're going to go for a non-date for two people who are traumatized about being with freak people because everybody's a freak. They could have deleted that entire scene and I wouldn't have given her a rest behind. Seriously. Next up, we have Samantha, who discovers a new way to look younger. And may I just say, best analogy scenes ever. Samantha. Samantha has discovered a new procedure, one I've never heard of. She is window shopping and she bumps into one of her friends and she looks at her, gives her a kiss and says, oh my God, you look amazing. And this woman says, yes, it's a new thing. I had the fat removed from my ass and then put into my face. Look at it. It's like a baby's bottom. Samantha is completely shocked. I'm sitting there like, what? I want to be clear on something. If this procedure was real, which it might have been, and I did not know about it, my friends and I, if we would have had the fat removed from our asses and put back into our faces, we would have looked like a fetus. Do you know how big our butts are? They're big. I was frightened. I was like, how does this work again? Do I reduce my junk in my trunk and put that junk in my trunk back in my face so I look like a baby? What the hell is happening here? I have never heard of this procedure. I was scared. As Samantha is enthralled by this procedure, the woman goes on to say, and the best part about it is that you get to eat for an entire week whatever you want to fatten up your ass. I'm like, okay. And then they just suck it out and they put it back in your face. Okay. And Samantha, she walks away, and Samantha, as Carrie narrates, had her first Big Mac and an appointment with the most expensive plastic surgery ever, ever. What? Next scene. Carrie's on her non-date with the most boring man in the world. It's She's walking down the street and they're flapping their lungs about, I don't even know. And um, she says, "This is me," and he says, "If this was a real date, I would try to go up. Would you? On the first date, try to get into her apartment?" Mm-hmm. But since this is a non-date, and she's like, "So no kiss?" And he says, "Well, maybe a non-kiss." I'm like, I swear to God, these two, I'm gonna kill them. And they give each other a peck, and then all of a sudden they're making out. And she narrates, there was nothing non about him. I'm like, God, shut up. Now we get to hear the procedure. Next scene we have is that they're in Carrie's apartment, and Samantha, well, first of all, Miranda is like, I can't believe you're doing this. Say this again. She's like, they take the fat out of my ass and then they put it back into my face, and I'm going to look so wonderful after. And Miranda's like, I don't get this. We are trying our damnedest not to grow our asses and get fat, and you're just going to put the fat right out on your face? And I'm like, yeah, tell her, Miranda. Who does this? Hmm? Next, she says, yes, and the beautiful thing about it is I get to eat whatever I want for an entire week and I get to wear this girdle. And then she pulls up the girdle, and I'm like, first of all, you don't even have an ounce of fat on you. Is the girdle even doing anything? She's showing the girls, and they're like, oh my God. And then Carrie turns around and she looks at her. She goes, it has a hole. I'm like, yeah, well, most girdles do. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't know a girdle from a pantyhose, okay? That's what. Okay. As Samantha looks amazing in the girdle that doesn't need to do anything for her because she's already like this big. Um, Miranda is like, whatever happened to aging gracefully? I want to go back to who is the surgeon and where is this procedure being done? Carrie says it got old. As Samantha tries to sit down next to Carrie as they're talking, she looks like she's in so much pain from, I guess, wearing the girdle with a hole in it. Okay. Charlotte is like, listen, I gotta go. I'm meeting Mitch. And everybody's like, oh my God, how is it? And she's like, oh, it's wonderful. And and I think we're gonna really do well. And Samantha's like, hold up a second. You don't fall in love with Mr. Vijay. You take him for what he is, and then when you're done with him, you set him free. That is why he is running rampant around New York City, because people keep setting him free. Trap him! Trap him! He needs to be stopped. Ew. So she's breaking one of the cardinal rules, as Carrie says. He's bogarting Mr. Vijay. You can keep him. Bogart him all you want. I don't want him. She gets offended, Charlotte, as Samantha's telling her about Mr. Vijay. She goes, his name is Mitch. And Miranda's like, what do you know about this guy other than technique? Do you go out with him? Do you have dinner with him? Do you have movies? Do you do anything with him? And she's like, well, we could. I'm like, but you haven't, because you've been seeing God for an entire week. Hello? Oh God. Oh God. Ew. That is the whole point of the scene, is that they're trying to convince her that he needs to be set free into the wilderness again. And she is like, no, I am going to make something out of this. Come high holy hell. She's going to get her monogram towels. I don't know what they're going to say, Charlotte and Mr. JJ. I don't think I'm going to use those towels, just so you know. And she walks out because she is going to make a go of this. Do you realize how desperate Charlotte has always been? To even remotely think that it is okay to be with a guy with a reputation as such. She really runs the gambit when it comes to finding anyone that's going to love her. Next up, we try to hook up Miranda on a date who I'm going to say right now, I support Miranda on this one. Ito. Ah, the double date, the double non-date. Now, Carrie and Mr. Boring is trying to hook up Miranda with one of his friends who freaked me out as they're walking and talking through the park. The date is speaking to Miranda and she's asking, what kind of ice cream do you like? And he's like, strawberry. And she's like, oh, that means you're boring. He goes, no, I like to consider myself traditional. Good God, this could not be worse. Okay. She goes, tradition is nice. So Carrie and the non-date Ben, I think, were happy to create two non-dates for other people. Okay. As they're talking again, Miranda and Scary Guy, he asks her, what are you doing this weekend? And she says to him that I am going to Connecticut to meet my granddad. And he goes, ugh, Connecticut. And she's like, what's wrong with Connecticut? He's like, I hate the country. I haven't left Manhattan in 10 years. He hasn't left Manhattan in 10 years. And he's proud of it. And she's like, and you're happy about that? And he's like, yeah, I have everything I need here. I have taxi cabs at 3 a.m., the park, the city, the Manhattan, blah, blah, blah. Why do I need to leave? And she's like, to experience other places? And he's like, no, I don't think so. And I'm thinking to myself, what is happening? What is happening? And as he goes to get a hot dog, now Carrie narrates the rare Manhattan man that never, ever leaves the city. I have never met anybody who has never ever. When I tell you that he says that he hasn't left Manhattan, he hasn't even gone to the outer boroughs. That's not normal. Okay? So Miranda tells him, I like the city and I like the country. This doesn't make me a freak. And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, who are you? And she decides to invoke the code word, I have to go feed my cat. It was nice meeting you. Carrie knows this because that's their code word. My code word was like, y'all need to get out of my house. Y'all pissing me off. Maybe I would have condensed it a little bit more. But at this point, I'm like, we have code words. I can't tell them. It's not vajayjay, I can tell you that much. Now, as she's trying to get away, Carrie is telling her, I thought you already fed your cat. She goes, well, I have to feed it again. And she tries to walk away, and Doofus, scary Manhattan guy, says, all cat people are freaks. I took personal offense to that. I personally love animals. You're the problem. You freak. Miranda's like, listen, I just want to tell you something. That guy's a freak. And you better be careful because Mr. Boring might be a freak too because you can tell a lot about your friends. Can you? Can you? Can you? She walks away. And now it's stuck in Carrie's head as she's looking at Mr. Boring and she's praying to God that he is not a freak at all. The next scene you have is they're in his apartment, okay? And they're kissing and she can't get up from her head what Miranda says about him being a freak. And she asks, is there anything I should know about you? And he looks at her and he gets up and he takes off his shirt. I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And he has a tattoo of Tweety Bird on his shoulder. He says that it was from one night of one of his friend's bachelor parties that the marriage didn't last, but Tweety Bird stuck with it. Okay. I would have done something with that tattoo, just on principle alone. Not that I don't like Tweety Bird, but it was weird. And he goes, "What about you? You must be perfect." Obviously, he has no clue who the hell he's dealing with. Clearly. She goes, "No." And she shows him a little scar on her knee that she got 3 stitches because she got into a fight in 3rd grade with a bully. I'm like, is that it, Carrie? Are you sure? Self-awareness. And he's like, "Oh." And they start making out. And she says, "That night we made love. And it was nothing freaky about it." Kill me now. Kill me now. Okay. Next scene, we have poor Charlotte. Charlotte, her monogram towels. She's out with Mitch for JJ. And she's trying to hold a conversation with him as they're bringing out the fruit platter. Okay. And she's going on and on about something that she did in camp and that she used to do this in camp and she's camping and she's talking and she's flapping her lungs. And he's like, "I'm going to cough. Slight cold. Almost done." Excuse me. And she looks at him and she says, "You're awfully quiet today." I'm thinking to myself, I haven't heard this man speak more than 3 words. And that was, what was he saying to her? Relax. Okay. You know. And he's like, he takes out one of the fruits and he starts to suck on it. What is happening here? He is devouring the fig. And as Carrie narrates, she realizes that Miranda was right. She stayed too long in the circus. And she's so traumatized that she could not bear to be around a fig ever again. I can agree with that. That was disgusting. The next scene we have is Samantha has finally gotten her procedure done with the surgeon. And she says, "Oh my God, you're amazing. What else can you do?" And she opens her robe and he starts to circle around her body all the procedures that he is inevitably going to do in the next 10, 15 years. Breast augmentation, lifts, tummy tuck, liposuction. He brought her into her 50s, where I am now, which, by the way, sure, I can use one of those procedures. And he's just going around. And then I guess the assistant comes in and says, "We need you, crap, whatever." And he goes, "Okay." And as he walks out, she decides to look at where he was marking her. And she opens her robe and you hear the circus song coming on. I'm like, oh my God. And you see this. What is that? That freaked me out from her face to her breasts. He put a smiley face on her, literally put a smiley face on her. And she starts to cry. Pobrecita, I would cry too. I mean, listen, I know that they do that. I've seen that on the YouTubes, when they do the surgery, but it's kind of jarring when you see it up close like that. I think I just might stay with strength training and just bear what I have and not take the fat out of my ass and put it into my face. I don't want to look like a fetus because I got that much fat in my ass. Yes, I will revert to being a fetus. I said it again. Next up, final scene. We get to see who is the freaky deaky in this relationship between Carrie and Mr. Boring. Stay tuned. Subscribe. We get to find out who's the freak. It's the next morning, and Carrie is waking up to Mr. Boring in his room, and she is loving every minute of it, and he is loving every minute of it, except for the fact that he has to leave and because he's late for his soccer game. And he says, "Stay, I'll be back in 2 hours." Why do you keep letting people stay in your house? Haven't we established this already? When you do that and you don't know them, they're going to go through your things. It is so odd to me. Like, no, you're not staying in my house unless I have security camera and a dog. Yeah, big dog. And what do you think happens? As he leaves, she starts to get freaked out because she's so into the sex now and she's so into him now and she's so afraid that, she doesn't want to go further without figuring out what is his freakdom. for the next 6 months because she's already put a time limit, I guess, in this relationship, how long she's going to be in it. So after he leaves, what do you think she does? She starts rummaging through his things. To boot, a cigarette. Have we established that he's a smoker? May I just say how rude that is, that you're smoking in somebody else's apartment? Do you know the stench that leaves? She's literally running around through his album covers, his drawers, his closet, all while holding a cigarette, even in his refrigerator. For the love of God. What the hell? That's, first of all, rude. She finds a box in the closet, which, by the way, as I noted before, that's where you keep your freaky deaky stuff. I'm not saying that I do, but I do. Shh. She grabs the box. She runs over to the bed. She finds a mail opener, and she's poking and trying to open it like a puma, and she can't figure out how to open it, all while holding a cigarette in her mouth. The girl's got skills. I'm telling you now. All of a sudden, Mr. Boring comes back and he goes, "What are you doing?" And she looks up from the haze of her smoke and she goes, "I don't know." He goes, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I was looking for something." "What are you looking for?" "Something freaky." As he's looking at the box, I think he actually took it quite well. He quietly walks back to the box on the bed and he slides it open. There was no need for all that poking that Carrie was doing in her smoke haze. And he shows her his Cub Scout badges that he's collected over the years. For the record, my box doesn't hold that. Yeah, baby. And he says, "I actually was going to stay home from the game to be with you because I thought you were one of the normal ones." And Carrie's like, "I was." Mm-hmm. And she says, "I'm going to go now." He goes, "Good idea." Still with a cigarette in her hand. She walks out of the apartment and she narrates that she came face to face with her inner freakdom. I believe she says something to the effect, "The single woman still scared out of her mind." Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. As she's walking in the street, she says, "It's truth be told, it's not just the men, it's all of us. Anybody who's still single in Manhattan gets freaked out. But there's hope. There's hope because one day you will find another freak like you who will love and kiss and be with you and kiss your three heads and make it all better. But until then, you have Manhattan." What the hell was that about? Kiss my three heads? I get the whole metaphor part of it. But what? This was an intense one. Somebody in the writer's room really got it bad. Epilogue. Next up, they do. Epilogue. Well, kudos to Jenny Bix and the team of writers that did not include Michael Patrick King and Darren Star because clearly they had a vacation day. And this woman took over this entire episode. And crew. It was hilarious in its own little freaky diggy way. I will never look at figs the same way or dining in or out, whichever you prefer, the same way. I am now curious, how much fat do I need to remove from me to put back into my face? I'm just saying. I am also very frightened about being marked up for surgery. I won't be doing that. I'll be fine. Okay? I am curious about men or people who don't leave Manhattan. Just Manhattan. Ever. Have you met anybody like that? Not just specifically Manhattan, just anywhere. Do people really do that? I still don't like 50 Shades of Grey. I don't care how they get tied up. And I would have slapped him. Silly. So, how does this all relate to And Just Like That? Well, let's think about this for a second. We had a different writer. I don't know how many times she writes for the show. We'll find out because I'm going to pay more attention to it. The tone was completely different. What I didn't like about this one was when Carrie was talking about her freaky deaky dates, the three guys. I didn't like the way she delivered the lines. It was really dry. And some of the lines were just stupid, like the last one with the $2 million and the man who steals books for no reason. It was a little corny. And the way that she was delivering it, I felt like she could have given a little bit more to it. um, it was a little concerning about how Samantha, like I've said before, she's not all about girl power. She does have her insecurities. Um, and it shows, right? Because it doesn't happen, like I said, very often, but I did find it curious that her age was something that was bothering her, and the way that she addressed it, though hilarious as it was, it does bring out those insecurities that was very prevalent in Just Like That when we went through the whole series of Carrie thinking that she needed to not have surgery for her hip and she was climbing up her stairs like an old woman. And then she found out that she had like a degenerative disease or something like that, or something that happened to her at birth, and she had surgery. Um, and when she went to take a look with Anthony about his surgery, the surgeon then was showing her how she can look if he were to attack her. Um, the whole aging thing has always, I guess, been around. It just seems a little bit different in Just Like That, because I think in Just Like That, they made it, I don't want to say criminal. I don't know how to put it without being offensive to myself, right? Because I'm growing up with these women just as much as they are in Just Like That. I just felt like in Just Like That, the way that they tried to address it was just more shame on you, and this one was more open your eyes, if that makes any sense to anyone. Like, you don't need all of that stuff to be who you want to be and be comfortable in your own skin. I did get that, because though Samantha went through that arc about wanting to have a baby's bottom from the fat that she doesn't have in any of her parts into her face, eventually she wakes up and realizes that she's okay the way she is, that's the empowering part. The fact that we're still dealing with Carrie's trying to deal with getting her over with her breakup, and she does these things that she can't get herself out from under her. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, she's always in her own way, right? Maybe he was Mr. Boring, but to run around his apartment and to start looking for things with a cigarette, I'm not going to stop harping on that. And then come to the realization that she is also a freak. I like the part that she said it's not just the men, it's us as well. Because we all have it. We all have it. Don't tell me you don't, because you know you do. We all have pain and baggage. Those were the messages that were given in the original series, right? They always go to the extreme, but then they hone it back in to more realistic and give you hope. Because regardless if you have three heads or not, and if you do, please send me a picture. Please. There's a lock for every key. There's hope. If you really want to find someone, you will. Now, would that person be the right someone? Well, that's debatable, but it's plausible. You can do it, right? There's somebody that's going to like Mr. Manhattan that never left. He's probably married and have 3 kids, all living in the Central Park. Just saying. Miranda, you know what happens to Miranda. And Charlotte finally gets her mans. Not yet. But at least she had seen God several times before she settled down. I have to tell you, I never heard her say that she had that great sex with anybody else. Well, I don't think they actually had sex. It was more dining experience. And Just Like That was so bland. So pointing a finger at you. You need to be like this. You need to look like this. You need to act like this. You need to have these friends. You need to have this life. This was just, this is life. Let's deal with it. And that's what I loved about this series. And just like that, it was like, this is life. Throw yourself off the bridge. Tell me how you felt about this one. I'm getting better. Um, if I wasn't as funny, it's because I'm trying to be clean. So I don't know how much longer I can hold back from some of the stuff that we know is coming. You know it's coming. So if you have any special metaphors you want me to use, let me know because I need new ones. Okay? I'm running out of them. Listen, episode 4 is coming. I'm recording, and I want to thank you, everyone who's responded, engaged, encouraged me. I'm going to keep saying this in every video because you know what? I love you. I love you. And I thank you because this has brought new inspiration for me, and you guys make me laugh. Oh my God. There's times that I wish I can use some of the lines and think about it before you even do it. So, next one coming up soon. Don't go anywhere. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. Welcome to my community. This is Lena's Freak Show. Enjoy because we have a lot more to go and it's going to get better and better. So I will talk to you. Well, no, not talk to you because I'm talking to a camera, but you know what I mean. I will respond to your comments because that's the best way to communicate with me every single time. And I want you to all have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed, beautiful day. Thank you. Goodbye, my little freaks. Mwah.